For the first time in a made-for-VR game, developers Sanzaru and Oculus Studios have knocked the classic action RPG style out of the park. From the opening sequence of Asgard's Wrath, it's clear that this full-fledged adventure is going to be a treat. Everything about it drips with mythic Norse personality, presented with some of the most detailed and diverse graphics and art direction ever seen through a VR headset. Whether you're battling the Kraken in the Sea of Serpents, having a drink with Loki, or standing before the great world tree Yggdrasil, there's always something to feast your eyes on and another secret waiting just around the corner. Asgard's Wrath is a tribute to Norse folklore, and quite a faithful tribute at that. This has got to be one of the most comprehensive in-game codexes on Norse mythology around. It's very much its own interpretation, and any similarities between 2018's thematically similar reboot of God of War are no more than a passing nod. What Sanzaru has crafted here is a gorgeous world that's tailor-made for VR. Asgard's Wrath keeps its larger story delightfully simple.
Get back here so I can bleed you dry!
You enter the world as the fledgling god of animals, Loki takes you under his wing, and the rest is history. Your character is vaguely defined, allowing you to inhabit them and make them your own, but the void of a detailed backstory is filled in by possessing, and literally stepping into the shoes of, a series of mortals who each embark on their own personal quests. Asgard's Wrath competently fills the emotional void that other games would try to fill with one big dramatic arc by positioning itself as a platform for many possible stories. There's a lot of attention to detail, and it seems like almost every side quest or hidden trophy you come across has some personal relevance to the person you're controlling, just as long as you're exploring in the region that corresponds with that character's critical path. Granted, there were certain places where the voice acting came across as cheesy and overdone, but without those monologues, certain quests might have lacked context and certainly would have felt lonelier.
And there, a great warrior's crypt.
Whenever possessing mortals gets boring, you can return to your god form at aptly named God Altars and take on a bird's eye view of the entire world. From here, you can literally grab, pick up, and move objects around the world to solve problems. That said, it's disappointing that this feature didn't have more functionality than solving puzzles and moving preordained puzzle pieces around. There's so much potential, but it's barely explored. Progression is an area where Asgard's Wrath truly shines. Channeling elements of The Legend of Zelda, each of the 4 explorable worlds are filled with secrets that require varying degrees of progression in order to discover and unlock. This is a completionist's dream, especially since Asgard's Wrath neatly and conveniently keeps track of each area and quest in your world map and quest book. There's so much of it that it's easy to finish the 20-hour main quest path and still have another 20 hours of side quests left to complete. Melee combat with armored opponents in Asgard's Wrath is primal and exciting. Successfully parrying an opponent's strike, dashing away from them, dashing back in, and busting through their defenses to land a fatal blow feels great. Ranged combat also has its own ebb and flow, and it's necessary to master both ranged and melee tactics to take down some of the bigger enemies. The number of ranged options available is surprising. While you can throw any old sword or axe at an enemy in a pinch, explosives, crossbows, bows, and throwing weapons all made the cut in Asgard's Wrath's arsenal. Likewise, each of the unique hero weapons have a personality that makes them delightful to play and develop fighting styles with. It was surprising to see how varied each of Asgard's Wrath's 10 different animal companions are. Each of them has a different approach to combat and a unique ability to clear a different type of obstacle. That said, sometimes it was a pain to need to micromanage the animal companion and repeatedly point them towards specific tasks both in and out of combat. Aside from occasionally rocky AI, Asgard's Wrath is missing certain miscellaneous quality of life features, like being able to skip through the lengthy crafting animations at the blacksmith, or a way to send items directly to the storage box without returning to the tavern once your inventory fills up. But still, this is one of the friendliest interfaces in a VR game. The button layout feels great and makes perfect sense for the Oculus Touch controls. Everything from the world map and the quest journal to the quick slot select panel and the combat HUD are equally informative and beautiful. It's worth mentioning that the text is even crisp and clear on an OG Oculus Rift CV1 without appearing tacky. Asgard's Wrath is a fantastic action-adventure RPG that can stand with the best of them on consoles and PC, but the fact that it's meticulously crafted for VR means it sits in a league of its own. Asgard's Wrath represents something VR enthusiasts have been waiting for years now. The first absolute must-play virtual reality game that feels fully fleshed out rather than a glorified tech demo. Its beautiful world, excellent combat, great interface, and straightforward but detailed story come together to form something spectacular. For more great adventures, check out our reviews of The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, Greedfall, and Monster Hunter World: Iceborne. And for everything else, stick with IGN.